You've been told to wait for motivation, to wait for that spark, that energy. But what if I told you this is the reason you keep failing? What if the very thing you worship is the very thing holding you back? Motivation isn't fuel, it's a trap. How many times have you said, "I'll start when I feel ready"? How many times did you wait for the hype video, the playlist, the perfect vibe, only to burn out within hours? Motivation makes you feel like you're moving, when in reality you're standing still. It's a drug, a chemical hit, and it has you hooked. I know, because I was addicted too. My nights were spent watching endless clips of motivational speeches. I'd write plans, lists, promises to myself. I'd feel unstoppable. But the next day I'd crash. The spark was gone and I was left staring at the same undone tasks, feeling weaker every time. Do you know that shame? That silent question? What's wrong with me? The truth is, nothing was wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: chase dopamine. Here's the science. Dopamine is not happiness, it's not fulfillment. It's the chemical of anticipation. The brain releases it not when you finish a task, but when you imagine finishing. That's why scrolling motivational content feels so good. You're bathing in dopamine just from the fantasy of being productive. But dopamine is a liar. It promises the reward, but it doesn't deliver the result. That is why you can spend hours consuming self-help and end up with nothing to show for it. It's like sniffing food without ever eating. You starve while feeling full. And the research is brutal. Stanford found that people who depend on feeling motivated are 42% less likely to finish long-term goals than those who focus on habit. Harvard studies show dopamine spikes lead to rapid burnout. The higher the emotional surge, the steeper the crash. This is why chasing motivation feels like riding a roller coaster. High today, empty tomorrow. I was living in that roller coaster. Some mornings I'd leap out of bed, fueled by hype. I'd clean my desk, put on the perfect playlist, tell myself, this is the day. Hours later, I'd be drained, scrolling again, hating myself for failing. Other mornings I couldn't even start. I'd tell myself maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow never came. The truth hit me hard. I wasn't addicted to progress. I was addicted to motivation. The feeling, the illusion. Pause. Let me ask you this. Do you actually want motivation, or do you want results? Because here's the cost of waiting for sparks. Every time you rely on motivation, you weaken discipline. You're teaching your brain dependence. It's like walking with a crutch so long, your legs forget how to stand. No spark, no action, no hype, no movement. You're not lazy, you're chemically conditioned. And here's the darkest part. The more you rely on it, the worse it gets. Your threshold rises. You need more hype, louder music, stronger words, just to feel the same kick. It's a drug-tolerance cycle. First you need one video, then 5. Then you're chasing motivational hits just to start the smallest task. And without it, you're paralyzed. That's not productivity. That's slavery. But you can break free. There's a reset, a method that doesn't depend on dopamine spikes, a way to build stability, focus, and energy that doesn't vanish with the sunrise. It's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but it works. And once you understand it, you'll never beg for motivation again. You've been waiting for motivation to strike. But the truth is, waiting is the very reason you're stuck. So how do you break the cycle? How do you take back control from your brain's chemical tricks? The first step is brutal honesty. Stop telling yourself, "I'll do it when I feel ready." You will never feel ready. That feeling is the trap. If you wait for readiness, you'll wait for the rest of your life. Instead, you anchor action to identity. You don't say, "I need motivation to study." You say, "I am the kind of person who studies." Words matter. Identity is heavier than dopamine. Motivation asks, "Do I feel like it?" Identity says, "This is who I am." Every action aligned with identity rewires the brain. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. With every repetition, your brain builds a new pathway. A path where action comes first and feeling follows later. Start microscopic. 1 push-up, 1 page read, 1 sentence written. Too small to fail, too small for your brain to argue. You may laugh at this. You may think, how can 1 page matter? But here's the trick. Small actions bypass the dopamine gatekeeper. You stop asking for permission to start. You just start. And 90% of the time, that one page becomes 30 minutes. That one push-up becomes a workout. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates results, not motivation. Here's a weapon I call the 3-second rule. The moment your brain whispers, "I should do this," you count down. 3, 2, 1. Move. Don't give dopamine time to negotiate. Don't give your limbic brain a chance to pull you back. Action before thought. Movement before feeling. It sounds simple, but it's brutal. And it works. Pause for a second. What task could you conquer right now if you stopped waiting for the spark? Picture it. The essay, the workout, the message you've been avoiding. What if you stopped bargaining with your brain and simply counted down and moved? There's another tool, micro-commitments. Tell yourself, "I'll do just 1 minute, just 60 seconds. Most people never start because they see the mountain. Micro-commitments shrink the mountain into a single step. And once you take it, the resistance dissolves. This is why James Clear calls habits compounding interest of self-improvement. Each small act multiplies. And then there's habit stacking. Attach the action you want to something you already do. After brushing your teeth, write 1 line. After pouring your coffee, read 1 page. After turning off your alarm, do 1 push-up. When you link habits, discipline becomes automatic. No dopamine required. But here's the truth. Even with these methods, you're still vulnerable to the trap if you keep bathing in dopamine all day. Notifications, endless scrolling, constant stimulation, they hijack your reward system. That's why a dopamine detox works. No, I'm not telling you to live like a monk. Start small. 30 minutes without your phone in the morning. No YouTube before your first completed task. Replace the instant hit with silence, or breathing, or journaling. Reset your brain's tolerance. Make discipline rewarding again. The science is clear. Studies on digital detox show that even short breaks from dopamine triggers increase focus by 23% within 2 weeks. That's massive. It's not about cutting pleasure forever, it's about regaining balance. Right now, your brain is like a casino flooded with neon lights. The detox dims the lights so you can see straight. So here's the formula. Identity first, micro-commitment second, 3-second rule to kill hesitation, habit stacking to automate, and detox to reset. 5 weapons against the dopamine trap, each one simple, each one powerful. Now let me ask you, will you try even one of these tonight? Or will you keep searching for the next motivational video, the next spark, the next empty hit? Because here's the truth, nothing changes until you decide. Nothing. And if you're waiting for the perfect moment, you've already lost. The perfect moment will never come. Only action creates it. 3, 2, 1, start. You've heard the tools, you've seen the science, but let me tell you what happens when you actually use them. Because techniques mean nothing until they become part of you. There was a student I knew, brilliant mind, endless potential, but every night he drowned in motivational videos, promising tomorrow would be different. He was chasing dopamine highs, never results. One day he stopped. He set his phone in another room and told himself, just 1 page. 1 page became 2, 2 became 10. Within a month, he doubled his study output. Not because he felt inspired, because he refused to wait for inspiration. He rewired his identity. He stopped being someone who needed motivation and became someone who acted. Or take the athlete, injured, demoralized, waiting for the day she'd wake up with fire again. That day never came. Instead, she built discipline through micro-commitments, 10 minutes of rehab every morning. No excuses, no spark, just repetition. The body healed, the mind hardened. Months later, she returned to competition stronger than ever. Her coach said it wasn't talent that brought her back. It was identity. And the entrepreneur, obsessed with motivational content, rise and grind became his religion. But he was broke, stuck, exhausted. He traded hype for the 3-second rule. Each time doubt whispered, wait until you feel ready, he counted down and moved. Calls were made, emails sent, proposals finished. No fireworks, just consistency. In a year, his business tripled. Not from motivation, from discipline. These are not superheroes. They're just people who stopped waiting, People like you. Pause and think, what could happen in your life if you refuse to wait for the spark? Imagine 6 months from now, your grades climbing, your body stronger, your projects alive, all because you chose action before feeling. You may think discipline is cold, harsh, robotic, but here's the secret. Discipline is freedom. When you live by motivation, you're chained to emotion. High today, broken tomorrow. But when you live by discipline, you're free. You act whether you feel like it or not. That stability creates peace. Neuroscience proves it. Habits create a baseline of calm focus. Discipline lowers stress hormones because your brain stops negotiating every task. No more inner war, just execution. And that peace is addictive. Not the empty rush of dopamine, but the deep satisfaction of progress. Here's what most people never realize. Motivation is cheap. Discipline is priceless. Motivation is for the crowd. Discipline is for the rare. Less than 1% of people live this way. But once you cross that line, you never go back, because you taste what it feels like to be unstoppable. And let me be clear, you don't need to be perfect. You will fail, you will stumble. But discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. One missed day doesn't matter if the next day you move again. That's the beauty of identity. Motivation dies the moment emotion shifts. Identity survives every storm. Think about this. If you can act when you don't feel like it, what can stop you? Nothing. Not boredom, not fear, not failure. You become untouchable. And maybe right now you're doubting yourself. Maybe you're thinking, I've tried before. I always quit. I hear you. I was there. The student was there. The athlete was there. The entrepreneur was there. Every one of them thought they were broken. But they weren't. And neither are you. You just need to break the chemical cage. That's why I tell you, don't wait. Don't overthink. Don't chase another motivational hit. Start now. Small, brutal, unglamorous. Because the results are waiting on the other side of action. The cage is open. The question is, will you step out? So here we are. You've seen the lies, you've seen the trap. You know now why motivation fails you every time. And you've seen the path out, the identity shift, the 3-second rule, the micro commitments, the detox. Tools so simple they almost feel insulting. But that's why they work. They don't depend on hype. They depend on you. But here's the final truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your favorite speaker, not your playlist, not me. The only rescue you'll ever get is from yourself. And that is terrifying, but it's also freedom. Because if it's all on you, then you're in control. You can break this cycle today. Ask yourself this. How many more years will you waste waiting for sparks? How many more mornings will you scroll for energy that never lasts? How many dreams will die in the waiting room of motivation? That is the cost. Every day you wait, a piece of you fades. That's not dramatic. That's reality. And here's what happens if you stop waiting. The transformation is quiet. No fireworks, no crowds cheering. Just you counting down. 3, 2, 1, moving. Day after day. Action before feeling. And slowly, without realizing it, you become someone else. Your brain rewires. Discipline hardens. The cage dissolves, until one day you wake up and the thought of waiting for motivation feels foreign. You don't need sparks. You are the fire,